Hey guys, how are you? It's been such a long time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your love, your comments, your support. If this is your first time seeing me on your timeline, then go to Facebook and follow Cooking Like Medea and go to my YouTube page as well and subscribe to Cooking Like Medea. So, for my Cooking Like Medea family and friends, it's been a crazy few months. It started back in March. I got promoted and I had to move to Charlotte. So, we're live from my Charlotte kitchen. You'll notice it'll be a little different, a little bigger. The setup is different, but I like it. And so, March, I took the month to pack, right? Because I had to be here the second week in April. And then I started work. And then, after my first week of work, actually my second week of work, I contracted COVID. All I was doing was going to work, coming home. But, you know, prior to, I worked from home. So I wasn't in any of the elements. So that took me down pretty bad. And for those of you who have had it, you know it takes weeks to fully regain all of your strength. So I've been spending the last couple of weeks, I'm back at work, of course, but I just didn't have the strength. So I hadn't been unpacking or anything like that. And my kitchen was a mess. I had 4 boxes of seasonings. You guys that know me, you know how my seasonings go. And so I have finally, this past weekend, unpacked my kitchen. And I was like, I got to cook. So for those of you all, and I am going by your timelines, make sure you follow my Facebook page, Cooking Like Medea, and also make sure you go and subscribe to my YouTube page, okay? All right, so we're getting right back into it. And I had a taste for some pepper steak with onions, tomatoes, and peppers with some rice and gravy. So, for rice, I have a thing about rice, right? So it's 1 part liquid, 1 part solid. So a cup of water to a cup of rice, right? Cup of water, cup of rice. I cook it until it's boiled, and then I turn it off and I just let it sit for about 20 minutes. Okay? I have cut up my vegetables and stuff. I've cleaned my steak. And so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Come on. All right, we're back. So I've washed my meat. Now I'm going to cut it. And I bought something on the reduced area. You can buy it in some places where it's already cut for you. And I'm going to put it in this bowl here. As you can see, I've already cut up my veggies. Do we cut on the same cutting board? We do not. Why? Because we do not ever want to cross-contaminate. We do protein on the plastic so that we can bleach it and make sure we're not passing good old friend salmonella around. And we do the fruits and veggies on the wood board so that we can clean it with some vinegar and then wipe it down with some oil so that it does not crack. Okay? And excuse me if my angles are a little off or I'm a little rusty. You guys gotta remember, it's been almost 3 months since I've recorded. So back to the rice. So I was watching someone about some rice. They were like, you make it too complicated. You season your water, you put your rice onto a boil. After it comes to a boil, you turn it off, but you leave the top on. I was like, oh, And then you just let it steam. I have so many new tips and tricks for old recipes that we're going to run through at some point during the next few months. I was watching stuff. I just wasn't recording a doggone thing. Ain't that something? When I get this marinade going, I'm then going to take all of this and put it in the refrigerator. Okay? This marinade is so very simple. Soy sauce, sugar, over steak. That's it. So let me get a little sugar out of here. Again, you know I'll have the measurements. Hey, but we're not doing sweetmeat, okay, guys? I don't know what this fascination is with sugar is on everything, but we're not doing sweetmeat. It just cuts some of the soy sauce. And because I don't have soy sauce, can you believe that? I'm going to use oyster sauce. And it's a little thicker. And it's salty. So I want to cut some of that saltiness. That's it. That's all. You guys see that? I'm still looking around for stuff. So bear with me. I was looking for my gloves. That's okay. So you can either just set this to the side, or if you really wanted to do something quicker, you can freeze it. Now, I'm not a big component of freezing because we all know that meat going right in will be tough. We don't want tough meat. We want it to all be coated great. And then we're just going to set this to the side. Okay. Don't really have to add salt and pepper because why? The oyster sauce or the soy sauce, if you have it, is already salty. And shout out to my niece, Miss Basketball player herself, Lene Harper. My shirt, if you're trying to figure out what it is, it's THK, that Harper kid. She's on social media. She's doing great things in basketball. She's doing great things in life. Her philanthropy, making sure she gives back to the neighborhood. She is absolutely amazing. So that is what I am wearing today. So now let's get the rest of it going. Gotta get it popping. So we're gonna take a small bowl, or in my case, I'm gonna take this cup and I'm gonna measure out cornstarch, beef broth, and some more. Okay? You guys know I'm a little rusty, right? 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and a cup of beef broth. And I always use unsalted. And I love them in the little boxes because I can just put them up until I'm ready. So I've gotten down to non-perishable things. I have a plenty of, and I just buy what I want to eat that day. Go figure. Okay. You know what that is? That's going to be our thickener. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out where is, oh, here it is. Still trying to get the leg of the kitchen. Literally, this is my first day cooking in here at all. So that was 1 tablespoon. I'm going to add my 2nd tablespoon. And I'm going to whisk that together. I'm going to set that to the side too. We got a whole plan. When we come back, we're going to get to cooking. All right, here we go. Cook this meat. And you don't want to overcrowd the pan. You want to cook it on medium high. You want to get a nice sear. We're always talking about sears and things like that. You want to get a nice sear on there. And I checked my rice, and my rice is perfect. Who knew? Because I showed it. And you want to brown this nicely. Of course, again, the full recipe will be on there. And I want to do a little fresh ground pepper. It also calls for red pepper flakes, but I don't want anything spicy. I want it a little less Asian, but yet I still like some of those flavors. And I don't want to overcook it because we're going to put it all back together in a minute. You're going to have to excuse my paper plate because the way I have things set up, I would have to move too much stuff around to get to what I need to get to. But you know, when I get ready to plate, there won't be no paper plate. Now I want to put the rest of this in it because I want to cook the rest of this down. And we're doing the same thing. We want to brown it. Recipe says crispy edges, not so much for me. And I don't have to cook it all the way through because again, you're going to add it back to the vegetables. And the broth and the cornstarch to make that nice gravy. I actually think my mom used to make pepper steak with beef. I think this was one of her famous dishes that she could make that we actually loved and we would eat. Now, you know, we're not getting rid of any of this goodness. We're going to use it all, even the gravy that's already started to form, right? We need all of that. I want all of that yumminess. Yeah, I just figured out I just have to have everything all set up by the time it's time to record. Because, child, so I'm going to add on, my minced garlic. I'm going to add on my vegetables. It's going to be so good. And I'm also going to add on, it says fresh ginger. I have some sliced ginger. Go figure. I'm going to throw in some sliced ginger and let that cook down. Do you all even have any idea what this is smelling like? And we're going to let this cook down. And as it's becoming a little translucent, a little see-through, we're going to add the beef back so it can all marry. And then we're going to put the sauce on top of that and let it simmer with the top on. And if you could smell the aroma in here, now I'm going to throw the beef back in there. I still think I cooked too much for just me, but indulge me, guys. Turn it back down to medium. And I'm going to add the sauce to it. And we're gonna let this cook down. It's gonna be so good. Last part, y'all. Gotta get a little plating in. My rice looks good. And I'm packing this down for my shape. When it's separated, it's done. For all of you who like cooking without lids, a lid will save your life. No doubt about it. I have already cleaned up my other stuff, so it's just this left. So let me show you what this all looks like. And there we have it. Cooking like Medea. We're back. Okay. See you next